Viewer discretion is expressed for the following program. If you are easily triggered or offended, please exercise caution while viewing this program, because the hosts really don't care. Warning, this show is not for children, and not for coworkers either.
It goes for too long. I love it.
Yes, it does go for too long.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome back. I'm JJ. That's Deke, and our Friday friend, Deke, the Sinister Minister, is here. We welcome to the anniversary episode of the Liar's Table on Your Two Dads. So this is our Deacon. I believe now it could be that I just deleted some stuff or forgot.
Don't start asking me questions. I got 20 seconds before I have to talk.
Okay, we've been doing this show for a year. So Deacon and I have been making a phone call on the internet for a year straight.
That's right.
And it went from like, I don't know, we should do something. Let's just like talk or whatever to now we've got like, memes and, we are our own living memes. But every morning we get on the phone and have a yak and sort some stuff out, change our own perspectives on things. Sometimes like I come in and have like one kind of idea, but then Deacon has a different point of view. It's very good for you to have somebody to talk to and kind of bounce ideas off of. And so that's what we've been doing for a year, and it's been pretty great. And along the way, we have picked up Dave and some other folks. And
where's our it's gone.
What is it?
I was looking for our overlay that was you guys should just make. This should just been a phone call.
Oh yeah, I moved it out. It's part of the intro. It's part of the pre-roll credits now. Yeah.
That was one of our first comments, and that has been
absolutely.
It's like gold to JJ and I.
Mm-hmm.
So hello everyone. Hello,
welcome,
Mister.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How are things?
Two guys from Kentucky and one guy from Texas. That's the way it goes.
Yeah, and let me tell you, you folks in Texas can have your dang heat back, because we're supposed to get up to the triple-digit heat index figures, the 110 heat index next week, and it's like 61 outside this morning.
Yeah, it's nice right now.
It's going to be like 78. It's been 78 and 82 tops all week long. No humidity here in Kentucky. It's been beautiful.
Had the air conditioner off, the windows open.
The windows open. Oh man, it's been so beautiful.
So heat index is how it feels, right? So if it's like 95, it might feel like 100 or something like that.
Yes.
So for the last 15 days, it just broke yesterday, I think. We had 15 days in a row straight where it was over 100. It was between 103 to 105.
Was that real. Last summer for us, Deke, or was that it was a summer or 2 summers ago? We had this ridiculous streak.
I don't mind the heat because we had AC, but like, man,
I'm
ready for a break.
I mind the heat.
I don't mind the heat. The older I get, the colder I get. My circulation is fading, and
I think my skin is actually getting thinner too.
Something, I don't know
like
what's going on.
On the back of my hands, sometimes I notice I'm like, I literally think my skin is thinner.
Ashley will be sitting there, and I'll be sitting there shivering in the house, and I'll go up to her, and my hands will be like ice cubes. My hands are like ice cubes right now, and I'm
wearing a hoodie right
and she's like, "Oh my god, that feels so good." Yeah, I wear hoodies in the middle of the summer in the house.
Yeah. Okay.
So
all right, folks.
Today, yeah.
Let's do some culture. Let's learn us some songs, Deacon.
Ooh, okay. All right. So this week we're doing Kentucky. Getting lucky with Kentucky this week, and our bonus. I added a bonus Kentucky song. I forgot what it's. Oh, it was one of the first recordings of Bill Monroe and his Bluegrass Boys, the godfather of bluegrass music. The music was named after him, and it's his song "Blue Moon of Kentucky." I think this was recorded in 1946, so 90 some odd, 80 some odd years old. Excellent. Bill Monroe, excellent. I've got a picture of Mr. Monroe right there on my wall.
Wow.
So, Mr. Bill Monroe. So that was the song, the bonus song about Kentucky. Our song from a Kentuckian today comes from Chris Stapleton. Chris Stapleton is a pretty popular guy right now, from a lot of different stuff that he's done, but a lot of people don't know. It was funny. Somebody said to me when he first got popular with whatever it was, Tennessee Whiskey or whatever his first popular one was, somebody said, this new guy, Chris Stapleton, I was like, Chris Stapleton is not a new guy. Chris Stapleton was around for a long time.
He was the frontliner for the Steel. What was their name? He was in a band. He was a frontliner for him.
If you'll look up the Jompson Brothers, Jompson Brothers, he's the lead singer for them. But he's a songwriter for a long time, and he's wrote a lot of number one hits for country music artists. When he would go play, it was those concerts where Chris Stapleton was playing somewhere. Well, that's where the country music artists would go because they wanted to hear this songwriting genius. So this song is not one that you've probably heard before. It's called Maggie's Song, and it's about a dog. So if you are a dog owner, you will like this song. The reason I picked this song when I first was going through stuff to listen to, I picked this song because my youngest daughter's name's Maggie. And so I'm like, so every song that's got the word Maggie or one of my children's names in it, I will listen to them. And I was like, oh, this is not about a girl. This is about a dog. And it's a really good song about a dog. So this is a wonderful song to add to your collection and listen to today about a dog.
Okay.
Chris Stapleton.
That's good. I have to admit, before you dropped the links in, I was listening to yesterday's songs because yesterday you had Nappy Roots in there. And I was like,
that was a good day. I was playing that last night while he was doing the dishes after I got home, and my daughter was I know this song. I was like, yeah. Gonna have a good day.
Probably the best way, maybe not the best way, but I'm going to suggest it's the best way, is for people that maybe listening to our phone call here, if they don't want to miss like a really good song day, if you just subscribe, it'll be in your feed, and then you can go back and check it out.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so like and subscribe, and you can come check it out on Discord. It's right here today.
Look right there. JJ's touching it. Oh, quit stroking your Discord.
Oh my God.
All right.
Great.
What is the title, JJ?
Yeah, today's episode title, folks. Trump's Georgia lawyer has only had the job for 6 months.
All right. Explain to me why Doogie Howser is next to Donald Trump there. That's like a guy I went to school with. That guy graduated after me, but he's a little younger.
He really did. He graduated way after you.
Like 2006.
That may not be far off.
No, that's why I'm laughing.
Scott McAfee has been a judge for 6 months. And he is now assigned to to Trump's Georgia case. The Georgia case, the one brought by Fannie Willis, and that's the one we talked about yesterday. That like if he gets indicted, if it goes to trial, if he gets a sentence, basically there's going to be no way to get pardoned because the governor can't pardon.
Guess what year he was born? Guess what year he was born?
When was he born?
I want you to guess what year you think he was born, and then Sinister Ministries.
I'm going to say 91.
I'm going to guess 95.
Ooh, 88 or 89. Wikipedia doesn't know. Yeah, 88 or 89.
I remember 88 and 89.
Yeah, I think I was in middle school.
It would be amazing if we let Joe Brown and Judge Judy adjudicate this or serve as judges over.
They would both throw it out. They'd be like, Judge Judy would just look at you and be like, this is dumb. What are you doing? Why are you doing this? How was your home life?
35 years old.
So, okay. So the Fulton County Superior Court judge, Scott McAfee,
They obviously
first put
don't
on
have
his
any
robes.
people that live down there in Fulton County, do they? I mean, what the hell? It's our
I-
only choice. Well, we got
Maybe he's a
Scott.
prodigy. This is the first time in American history that a former sitting president of the United States has been indicted for asking if the elections were legitimate in Georgia. And so we're said this case is full of precedent. So obviously we need to give it our best and brightest, or newest and baldest. Sorry, guys.
Hey,
He could be a prodigy. Like I know
Could
we
be.
make the Doogie Howser jokes, and I got to say, after watching the show for a little bit of time, I would have wanted Doogie Howser on my case.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
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 So, I mean, yes, young, but
Morning, Richter. Hey, guys in chat. Let me
hey,
holler at you. Oh, let me push the tweet button.
Now-
I forgot to tweet our show out.
Now there's
Tweet.
there are some professions where being younger can have just as much advantage, if not more advantage, than being an older, experienced person. The
Right,
medical
Chippendales.
field- God,
Sorry, it's the first one that
Chippendales.
came to mind.
Chippendales is one, JJ. Yes, you are correct. I was thinking about the medical field, but
Okay,
I'm glad you went
we know
there.
where JJ goes.
We know where you stay. We know where I stay. The medical field is one because I mean, if you had two doctors there, and one was born in 1988, and one was born in 1948. All right, the 1948 doctor has a lot of wisdom under him.
Sure.
The
Yeah.
1988 doctor has a lot more intelligence on the technology and is more up to date with a lot more newer procedures that they didn't have in 1948, 58, 68, 78, or 88. All right.
So-
So
Right.
that is a bonus. In my field, it doesn't work that way. The more experience you have, the better you are.
Learn to use your voice. You
Yes.
assemble a bunch of tools
Yes.
at a time.
Yes, I can pick out. I was listening to one of the big morning shows on the way in a couple of weeks ago, and I thought, she hasn't been on the radio less than 10 years, because I can tell by the way she does things and the way she says things. She wasn't on the radio less than 10 years,
So
This is- but
McAfee,
what I'm getting at is this is not
Yeah.
one of those that I want in 1980, someone born in 1988 or 89 to be.
yeah,
I want a wizened old ass individual sitting up there that has been through some stuff.
probably that would be better.
Yeah.
You would think that would
yeah,
maybe be better.
Yeah, that would be better.
McAfee is 34 years old, and he spent much of his time as a prosecutor, first as the Fulton County District Attorney, and then later the U.S. Attorney's Office in Atlanta. He was randomly assigned the case. It was totally random and fair. But
This
he
is a former
worked for
president of the United States. It don't need to be don't need to be random. All right.
He worked for some key people involved in the events of 2020. He's worked for Georgia Governor Brian Kemp, and who's also a Republican that attacked Trump repeatedly for not joining his effort to overturn the laws. He's worked for U.S. Attorney Byung Pak, who Trump forced out of office for not joining the effort, and he's worked for Fannie Willis, the DA that is charging him right now. So. Yeah, this is probably fair. It's probably fair. And it's probably a good idea. Let the rookie judge handle these experimental cases.
Yeah. For one of the biggest cases in the nation.
Yeah.
Yeah, let him do it. I'm sure
This
his
is fine.
family is safe.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I was
look.
that guy, I would be like, nope, not gonna do it. Nope. I don't care what you
I don't
think
know.
is going to make me and how much this is going to propel my career. It will put my family in direct danger. Nope.
Now, I saw in here some of his credentials. Let me just see. Here we go. McAfee, he might be young for his age, or as a judge. He might be young for being a judge. But he graduated from Emory University in 2010 with a degree in political science and music. Seems like And then
All sweet. He
and
can play a sweet ass saxophone.
And he also went to University of Georgia Law in 2013, and he became a member of the Order of Barristers. So normally federal judges are about 50 years old when they're appointed, but this is a state judge. I guess 34 is fine. It's fine.
I don't know any of the rules for that.
All right. I didn't bring up any pictures because it's on the Wall Street Journal.
The judicial profession is one of those where, in my personal opinion, experience is key. Experience is key in that.
It takes like a lifetime for you to figure out all the little nooks and crannies of the law and how it actually works. So,
and there's a lot of nooks and crannies in the law.
Yeah.
Have you ever looked at the law library?
And crannies in particular. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
It takes a long time for you to experience stuff, because me 20 years ago was a completely different person than I am now. You know, I just am, because of, and somebody said one day, they were talking about my mistakes in life, and I said, I don't have any mistakes in life. And they were like, you don't? You never made a mistake? And I'm like, no, I've made choices, and every choice has a consequence. And every one of those, every one of those consequences has an action and a reaction from it. So I don't have any mistakes. I have some choices that I made that had consequences with them.
Sometimes I made some choices I probably shouldn't have made.
Yeah.
Hey, Richter.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I made some choices that at the time I thought, this is a life-changing choice, that this completely changed. And it did. That choice completely changed my life. But because of the choice that I made that changed my life and everything about my life, 4 kids have been born directly because of my choice. If I would not have made that choice and been on that path that I was on, these 4 children would not be alive today.
Right.
You just wouldn't. So,
and you don't regret that.
2 of them are mine, and I do not regret that at all.
All right. So moving on from the Georgia case, but staying on Trump legal news, we have a story from Just the News. The Trump legal team seeks a post-election trial date for Jack Smith's election case. So Jack Smith is the federal prosecutor that Joe Biden's administration and the Department of Justice are using to levy charges against Donald Trump for, I guess, the January 6th riot or insurrection, whatever is convenient at the moment to call it in the news cycle. So when it's something to do with like Republicans, you call it an insurrection. But if Democrats do the exact same thing, or take over a congressional office or light fire to buildings and stuff, you don't call it an insurrection. It's only when Republicans are involved is it called an insurrection. So attorneys for Donald Trump are seeking an April 2026 trial date for one of Jack Smith's cases against Trump in relation to his efforts to challenge the 2020 presidential election. Smith has charged Trump with 4 counts, including conspiracy to defraud the U.S. government, threatening constitutional rights, conspiring to obstruct an official proceeding, and obstruction of an official proceeding. Trump has pled not guilty. So we don't know the assignment. I don't know the assignment of the judges on that yet, but we'll see. Jack Smith wanted the trial date to take place January 2nd of 2024, just weeks before the primary season starts. Trump's like, I think maybe we could do it after the election's entirely over. That's when we can start. We'll see what they agree to.
I have to compliment you on being able to play with Ruby and throw that stuff the whole time you were reading, and you never missed a beat. Congrats. I'm impressed. That was very nice.
My dog. I know if I throw it twice, she'll give up and lay on the ground.
Oh,
so
she's like me. That's like me. I'm good about 2 times.
Here, look. She gave up. She already gave up. She's right down there. She's gave up already.
She's cute.
All right. Okay. I don't know if we have. We got another legal story, but this time it's from the Bidens. Hunter Biden's prosecutors refuse to keep the gun charge deal in place. It's for real. I just complimented you on giving up. All right. Prosecutors in the Hunter Biden case insist that an agreement negotiated with the First Son's attorney over a gun charge is not valid. So you guys remember this was in the news a couple weeks ago. They Hunter Biden legal team tried to sneak in like a plea deal. We'll plead guilty to this gun deal if you'll also give us immunity for any other crimes that might possibly just be described in this alternative document over here. And the judge was like, "Hold up, this is like." No, this is universal immunity to everything. We're not agreeing to this. This isn't valid. And the judge said to the prosecutors, "You're like, did you intend to give them universal immunity?" And the prosecutors were like, "No, that's not what we intended." And Hunter Biden's defense team was like, "Whoa, hold on." So Hunter Biden eventually reneged out of that, or backed out of that deal, and they pled guilty. But now they're saying that the gun plea deal that they made should be valid, but while Biden's attorneys claim that it is valid, the Department of Justice contends that the prosecutor signed the agreement, yes, but never got the cosign from probation agents, and therefore the agreement is not valid. The quote: "The government did not renege on the previously agreed upon plea agreement." As the defendant inaccurately asserts in the first substantive sentence of his response. The defendant, Hunter Biden, chose to plead not guilty at the hearing of July 26, 2023, and the U.S. probation declined to approve proposed diversion agreement at that hearing. Thus, neither proposed agreement entered into effect. So
what does that all that bull crap mean?
It means that that means that Hunter Biden is not off the hook for the gun charge, and I don't know how much else he's being charged with. I know there's some tax stuff, there's some not reporting income. I think the big one is not registering as a foreign agent. That's a big one. And he was trying to brush all that incredibly important stuff under the gun charge of I threw a gun in a dumpster. So. We'll see how that case is going to go. We have.
What you're saying is the son of the president's a bad guy?
Well, I don't know what bad. He seemed to be pretty good at driving that Porsche at 172 miles an hour while holding a crack in his hand. And I have driven my car fast, probably 85, 90 miles. I've never driven 172 miles an hour. That's pretty fast. And if I was doing that, I don't think I could hold crack at the same time.
So I guess you're right. That is pretty talented. I mean, it takes some skill to do that.
That's just perspective, right? Okay. And I don't even know how you find so many hookers, but Hunter found a bunch. I wouldn't even know how to do that.
That's a skill, I guess.
Keep it up with the Chippendales, and you'll find all of them.
Callback.
See,
that's good. Hold on,
it'll happen again.
You earned that, sir.
You earned that one.
All right.
Richter says he can't even walk and smoke crack at the same time. So there's also that.
See?
Nice. All right. Top it off my coffee here. Okay.
And he says there's apps for the hooker finding. Oh, see, Richter's on top of it.
Dang.
Richter's.
I did not know that, sir. And I'm a little disappointed that you do know that.
He says he doesn't know from experience.
Okay.
In all fairness, we won't paint him as I'm
going to call your bluff right now. All right. No, I'm joking. Hey, I know you guys love to hear Joe Biden talk. No. Don't protest. Here we go. Let me just set a little bit of stage for this. 2 years ago, and we just had an anniversary. Not only is our show having an anniversary, the United States of America just had an anniversary. And Afghanistan just had an anniversary, because Afghanistan 2 years ago was liberated from the occupying forces of the United States of America. America just skedaddled, got out of there. Yeah, we dropped a few people off of airplanes or whatever. It's not that big a deal.
Not a big deal.
Totally retreated. And you can say like, yeah, it's been kind of a rough 2 years. The economy's been kind of in the toilet. People have totally lost like respect for law enforcement, police, politicians, the United States of America. We're getting raked over the coals by China, but America's doing better than ever. And you can take it from the president himself. Let's see what the president has to say.
Let me tell you.
They're
telling us America's failing. They're dead wrong.
You hear it?
They're dead wrong. America isn't failing. America's winning. And I've said 1,000 times.
Yes, America's winning.
I've said 1,000 times. 1,000 times. There is no quit in America.
No quit.
Name me a single objective we've ever set out to accomplish that we've failed on. Name me one.
What? Just one thing? He only wants one thing that he's set out to accomplish that he hasn't succeeded at. Joe Biden's got this quirk as a public speaker, and it goes like this: you fail at something colossally, and then you just deny that it happened. And then you assert that the opposite of that happened. And that seems to be kind of like his thing, So he had the audacity to give that speech on the 1-year anniversary of the United States completely losing Bagram.
That's not his
Afghanistan
thing, though, JJ. That is a thing that has been going on for a long time, especially in that era, in that area.
Right.
I mean, something will happen.
Mm-hmm.
We will all witness it. We all have questions about it. And they say, no, what you saw is wrong. And we all say, no, we saw this. And they're like, no, what you saw is wrong. It was really this that happened. And we're like, no, it has happened over and over and over and over again for 100 years. For 200, how old?
Well,
since 1777.
You might be totally right about that. But in my mind, I'm just connecting what he's saying here, and also when I've heard him say, when people have asked him about, hey, what about your business, the shady looking business dealings with Hunter Biden in Ukraine or whatever, and the people have been asking this for the last 2 years, and every time he's addressed by this in public, if he doesn't turn around and walk away or smile and make a joke or come on, man, or any of that shit, the only thing he says is, no one's ever accused us of any wrongdoing. No one's ever said anything is wrong. That's all we're talking about all the time is how bad
There's
this
a guy
is.
that lives in between me and Sinister Minister named James that's trying to bust the Biden family that keeps trying to throw proof at him all the time. So has he ever heard of that guy?
Yeah. Nobody's ever accused us. Yeah. Nobody's ever found any evidence we've done anything wrong. Found any evidence? How about you just say you haven't done anything wrong? What do you mean you find evidence? No, the evidence is so well hidden. No, Joe Biden. All right. Good gosh. I got some international news. This one's pretty bad. Yeah, I think we're gonna go with this. Okay, we're gonna shift gears, guys. Let's talk about the cartel.
Yay.
Saw this cartel. I think they're nice people.
I saw this on Breitbart, and then I also saw it on Daily News, dailymail.uk. My wife is calling.
All right.
You want to cover? Can you cover this for a second?
Yeah, let me see if I can find the story.
I'll try to find the cartel one now.
Yeah, I don't know where the cartel story is. There it is.
Is this the gunman forced kidnap?
Oh my gosh. Oh, he's doing this story. Okay, yikers. All right. So did he? Oh, I know he answered. Okay, so I'm gonna throw it up here. Cartel gunman forced to kidnap teens to beat, stab, and kill friends in Mexico. Yikes. A group of cartel gunmen kidnapped 5 teenagers in the state of Jalisco and forced at least one to beat, stab, and kill one of his friends for sport. The gruesome crime comes when it has been rocked with mass kidnapping and terrorist attacks, including using explosives at the hands of drug cartels. Gosh, man. This is bad. 5 teenagers gone missing. I guess were they teenagers in the area? They found human remains that were believed to belong to one of the victims.
Oh, goodness. So 5 victims were 21-year-old bricklayer and soccer fanatic. I'm not even going to attempt the names. 22-year-old professional cyclist who won 2 gold medals in different categories at the 2016 National Olympics. 20-year-old. And he's a blacksmith who, according to El Pace, owned the Volkswagen Jetta that was found burned.
Yeah.
The other 2 have been named. They're all 20, and then the youngest is a 19-year-old who is a boxer and a cyclist. And these.
So I locked in my page here. We're not going to scroll down because there's some pretty gruesome images on the page there, and we're not going to show that. So these 5 young men in Mexico, these 5 young men responded to a job ad for security as a security job, and then the cartel. It was a fake ad. The cartel said they kidnapped him, and they said, "Okay, you guys are going to be hitmen now." And the 5 young men were like, "We're not killing people. We're not killing people. We're not going to do that." And then the cartel forced one of the young men to kill and stab and bash with a rock one of his friends right there. Forced him to murder his friend. And then the cartel killed the rest of them when they refused to become hitmen for the cartel. So this is what the cartel does. This is what the cartel does. They traffic humans. They traffic drugs. They literally force people to become hitmen and killers. And these are the guys running our border policy. The cartel are running the United States border policy, not the United States of America. I think I have a clip of, I don't know where it went. I had a clip somewhere of RFK. RFK Jr. had said, I'm going to take this down. I feel bad for these guys. And, this is in Mexico. It's on the other side of the border. But, I mean, like, the neighboring state of the United States of America ought not be in such dire straits and totally controlled by absolute corrupt, cartels, right? But and it has been for decades. And the United States is so weak internally and so weak externally. We cannot keep our neighbors safe. It's unreal. I had an article and a clip from RFK Jr., who's campaigning to try to run against
Biden.
Joe Biden in the Democratic Party. And RFK had been very critical of Donald Trump and Donald Trump's build a wall, border wall, secure the border thing. RFK Jr. went down to the border and he talked to people that lived on the border and he talked to people that kind of deal with it. And RFK has publicly come out and said, I was wrong. I made fun of Trump and I was wrong. That we need to secure this border because it's the only humanitarian thing to do. It's the only compassionate thing to do is to protect. By protecting the border, we protect both sides and both countries. So that's not a quote. That's just he walked back his statements. We have actual bad guys in the world that we need to be able to keep our citizens and neighbors safe from. And it's really hard to do that when we have our own bad guys in the government prosecuting our own government or our own former administration. So America has no room to talk in terms of corruption and the like. Okay. Let's go. We just have so many little stories. Let's cover this Maui thing real quick. We talked yesterday about Maui. Deke.
Yeah.
And I told you, we had the conversation. I was like, the sirens, they didn't turn the sirens on because they would have trained people to go up the mountain into fire or whatever.
Right.
Makes sense, I guess. Makes sense.
Right.
Maui's emergency management chief resigns, citing health reasons, a day after he defended the sirens' silence during the
his
deadly
health
wildfire.
reasons are
Probably
he's
about to have
probably
a stroke,
yeah
heart
he's-
attack.
yeah from all
Stress.
the threats and the stress that he's
Huh.
probably getting.
Yeah.
You know. And people don't understand. They're like, "Why did you turn this on?" And I was like that until you're like, "Dude, you know, it makes complete sense now." I would have probably, I don't know what I would have done, but that would have.
Hey, look, there's no amount of making sense that is going to matter when you've lost your niece or your daughter or your kid or your cousin or your brother, right? Like, it doesn't matter how rational the excuse is or the reasoning is or whatever. People are going to, and rightfully, react to this entire situation emotionally.
Yeah.
So it's pretty. Hey, Miss Dangered. We got Miss Danger
Hello
hanging
again.
out with us. Well, welcome. Good fences make good neighbors, she says.
She is right.
I hope I'm not
You can get some-
misgendering
yeah,
you, Miss
You can
Danger.
get some good fences. You know, you can go to Lowe's.
Yeah. Right? Get good fences.
Take
The
money up
administrator of
and home.
Maui's emergency management system resigned. Let's see if he has a quote, but he's citing health reasons. I do. Let's see.
That was my bad.
Yeah. Anyway, we don't need to dig too deep into this. We're gonna, and like I said before, like this Maui stuff, we're gonna be picking out facts out of this, out of what happened, and doing the kind of reversal of whatever happened for probably a long time. Okay. Let's see. We got China. Let's talk about China. You were talking about TikTok this morning, Deke. TikTok.
China.
TikTok. China.
China virus.
This story on Breitbart News. China's psychological warfare. American teens have developed TikTok brain. TikTok brain from China.
Apparently, it's not just the kids.
Yeah, it's not just the kids.
So I have just got TikTok and my kids and whatnot, and we were they've been showing me because Ashley was like, she's trying to help me promote myself better with my Dungeons and Dragons crap. She was like,
Yeah.
you need to get on TikTok and you need to look and see what all they offer on there. And I'm like, nah. And she said it a couple of times.
You need to watch Roll for Sandwich. That is like the best Dungeons and Dragons TikTok mashup.
Well,
ever.
see, I told her, I said, all the crap that's on TikTok and whatnot is not stuff that I would want to do and whatnot. But I told her, I said, one of the things I was asking last night before I went to bed, because we were talking about it. And I said, how come when I'm just flipping through, all of a sudden I've got two girls on there with their butt cheeks showing at me? And her and Kendra started laughing at me. And I was like, and so I started flipping, and she was like, the stuff that's popular and the stuff that's hot will come up in your feed and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, I don't want that to come up in my feed. I want Dungeons and Dragons. I want the certain stuff to come up in my feed. I don't want these half naked girls coming up in my feed. And she, and so I was flipping through and I said, look, right here's one. And she was like, don't stay on it. The longer you stay on it, the algorithm's telling them that you like to watch. I was like, oh my God. So I'm a TikTok noob, but I can see why the kids like it. It's instant entertainment. And I can see how misinformation is spread very easily. Very easily.
So early studies suggest that TikTok is actually changing youth's attention spans, a phenomenon known as TikTok brain.
Okay.
Young people who binge watch short form content like TikTok or Instagram Reels, or I guess YouTube Shorts, right? They're all the same thing. Find it harder to participate in activities that don't offer instant gratification.
Yep.
The reward system in your brain, my brain, all of us, the reward system in a person's brain seeks reaction via continuous scrolling on TikTok and Instagram Reels, right? And so, you watch like a 30-second thing, and if it makes you laugh, you may run it again and again. Or if you go to the next one, and then within a few seconds, if it's not entertaining, you just swipe.
Wait a minute.
You're training your brain.
Well,
yeah?
That's why you will see on videos that'll say, watch till the end or wait for it.
Oh,
because
yeah.
people aren't. So in advertising, over the years, when I would create a 30-second spot, I had a trick that
Let's
I
try
would
this.
do in the early.
Ooh,
Ooh,
you don't like that?
I don't-
Hey.
We're looking
I'm
TikToky.
having to set weird now.
Ooh.
I don't like to sit like that. I gotta sit like this, and I gotta move my damn camera.
All right. I
Thank
was
you.
just trying.
Over the years with radio, I would watch people, and when you listen to the radio, do you listen to the radio spots? No, you don't listen to the radio spots. You turn the channel. You're not really listening to what is being said on the radio spot. So it's my job to sell that spot. It keeps me in business. So I'm trying to think of ways to keep you listening to that spot. And one of the ways that I developed about 20 years ago was I will change the music halfway through. All right. I wouldn't change the tempo of the music, but I would change the music. So you're listening to do and it would go bo 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 bo. You know, it stayed the same beat, but it would change the music, and it made the spot sound like it kept your attention. You know, it just kind of it was kind of one of those teachers when they're like, or they smack the desk. You know, that's all that was. Well, now I was just having this conversation not too long ago with another radio guy. Now, I blame it on YouTube, because YouTube, you got 5 seconds before you can skip the ad. That has forced advertisers into 5 seconds. So if you will notice, there's some ads that are 5-second ads. There's some ads that are longer than that, but they have a smack you in the face line right at those 5 seconds to get you to pay attention. So I've tried to incorporate that into radio. You know, how do I 5 to 10 seconds is all I have for somebody, you know, anymore, my kids, to keep their attention, to tell them about this. And it's getting to be impossible.
So this is impacting things like school, teachers.
Yeah.
I'll say ministers, churches.
Yeah,
preaching.
yeah.
I mean, people don't want to, like, I don't get a song in the background when I'm preaching. I mean, I probably could, but
yeah. So neuropsychologist Sanam Hafiz told Bustle that when you scroll and hit upon something that makes you laugh, your brain gets a tiny little hit of dopamine. And when you see something you don't like, you can just move to something else and get another hit of dopamine. So it's this app, this Chinese psychological warfare application, is literally training you to spend as little time as possible engaged in content to be satisfied.
I'm not trying to defend the Chinese app in any way, but I used to do the exact same thing with this mobile game. And I would take these crystals and move them to the center, and they would spin around in a circle. And at the bottom, there was a spinny wheel that and I would be like, "Oh, I was so close to getting cable."
No, you weren't.
In reality, I really wasn't so close to getting cable.
Yeah,
that's the same thing.
It is the same thing. It's the same mechanic. It's the same psychological mechanic. You get some people to spend a little bit of time to do something. You get them to do something, and then give them a little reward.
Did see along that line, the Titan crystals are now available.
What are those?
7-star.
You get them you have to duplicate a 7-star to get them.
Okay.
I saw it's like ink, isn't it? I saw somebody's
somebody actually opened one the other day, and they were talking about how much money you have to spend to get that number of crystals, and they referenced another YouTube guy, and I think they said he spends $20,000 a year, and he has like 500 of the crystals or the shards. I'm sorry.
How many?
Just 500
What is
shards.
that? What is that crystal? What's in that crystal?
The 7-stars that are hard to get. So you've got your basic 7-stars, and this has the really nice 7-stars that aren't released yet.
Oh, you've completely lost him. He's like, "Oh, I don't care."
Yeah.
It's serious. And then, oh no, I don't actually.
It's only cable in the Titan crystals only have cable.
Oh, cool. Cable and Apocalypse.
And original X-Force members, you can actually get Shatterstar and
Kabam
and
Kabam did exactly what I predicted on the podcast that they were going to do a long time ago when I said They're putting out way too many characters way too fast. They're
Yep.
oversaturating this game to the point that it got to the I still try to keep up with it a little bit because it was such a big part of my life for a while.
Yeah.
I do not miss it, but I still follow some people on there on the game and whatnot on Twitter, and I'll see stuff come through, and I'm like, oh, man.
I have a lazy alliance with no requirements.
My buddies,
yeah.
I was in a lazy alliance. I wouldn't log in. I just didn't care. I just lost care. Let me tell you, a dude that I was in, I'll just say this now, I don't care. Dude that I was in an alliance with for the long time, because we had an alliance family that we had a family of alliances with 3 or 4, like most of them are. And one of our guys went on to play in one of the top alliances. I mean, he's still in the top alliance to this day, and his name is Knight. And so if you go to the top people, hit your little thing there at the bottom and go to the top people. He's in the top 10, Knight, Nite. And
we had Hermit for the longest time when he first started Hermitudinous, and he was like in all the big ones.
So Knight is I was talking to him one day, and he was this is what he told me. And he was he wasn't one of these bragger guys all the time. He rarely talked but when he talked, he was just he sounded like a guy like us that was just kind of, I'm busy, but I love this game. He said he was a lawyer. He lived in California. He said he was a lawyer. He had no kids. His wife was a surgeon. And he said, I don't spend my money on anything but this game. I don't have time to have a hobby. This is my hobby because I'm always carrying around this, and I'm always. So this is my hobby. And so if you will go back and look, if you could go back and look at the numbers for the December stuff for like the past 2 or 3 years, he is in the top 3 for spending in December. He was always in the top 3. So I asked him, and he said he had spent over $25,000 just in December of that year.
Oh my God. He kept him afloat.
Just in December. On that game. And I was like, are you kidding me? He's like, no.
I was actually, I certainly don't ever intend to kind of drag contests into the show or whatever. I was actually looking at the financial statements of Netmarble a couple of days ago, because what I do is every time they do a quarterly report, I update my table to see how profitable they were being. Mm-hmm. And so the quarterly reports for Netmarble came out about 10 days ago. And so quarter 2 of 2024 is the first quarter in 10 consecutive quarters, 10 consecutive financial quarters that Contest of Champions has not lost money year over year. So for 10 consecutive quarters, they Contest of Champions earned the revenue may have gone up and down, but if you compare it to the prior year, the same period prior year, it was down. Last month was the first time it went up, and it only went up just a little bit. So
no, that's good though.
I mean,
if you start here and then you go down here and then you go up just a little bit, have you really went up very much? I mean,
right.
So,
one of the things, I feel very I think there's a word for having 2 different opinions of things at the same time, which is fine because you're allowed to have multiple, even conflicting opinions about stuff. I both love the game and I hate it. And I want to see it do good. And also I want to see it fail for doing dumb and bad things. So I don't know what you would call that, but
politician.
So I run the server where people hang out and chat, and sometimes I think I don't want to do this and I don't want this thing anymore. I just want to get rid of it. And sometimes I think no, it's fun to play a little bit. And then sometimes I'm I'm going to ride this thing out until this company burns to the ground, because I have seen and I'm here to watch the fire whenever that happens.
Been here since almost the very beginning.
Yeah. So anyway. All right, guys, we got a few minutes left and we got some important stuff to cover. It's important for you guys, especially, to understand that white individuals are inherently racist.
Yes.
Okay? There's just nothing you can do about it. White individuals are naturally racist. And some uppity doctors that think they know better are suing California over some mandatory training, which is informing them that if they are white, they are racist. And they need to know, right? You can't go around being racist and also be ignorant about it. You're supposed to be doctors. So apparently some doctors are suing California over this mandatory training. And that's on Wealthy Living. And at the same time, I found this other story. California professors, so now the college folks, are trying to sue to block diversity, equity, and what's the I? I don't remember what inclusion, teaching and tenure mandates. So these new regulations are aimed at the Title V of California's Code of Regulations to include diversity, equity, inclusion, accessibility standards in the evaluation and tenure of review employees. So if the only way that you can become a professor at a college in California is if you get on your knees, right, and you do your thing and you pray to the God of diversity.
Anybody? Why is this news? Is this surprising? Good God Almighty!
So if I circle back to that first one, am I racist?
Yeah.
I think it depends on how you define racism.
Okay.
Now, privilege, I know, is a little bit different story. I can honestly say when I get pulled over, first thing I'm not wondering is if I'm going to get shot. First thing I'm wondering is how am I going to get out of this ticket? Before I even know what I got pulled over for. And just for frame of reference, I've been pulled over for over 20 years. But like the things that go through my mind when I have an interaction with law enforcement are not the same things that go through everybody's mind when they have an interaction with law enforcement. Even individuals who are completely innocent.
Right.
I get that. But now jumping back to define racist. I could say that.
Oh, sir, you're racist, so adorable. You think there's a definition? There's not a definition.
I do.
It's whenever it depends on who you're talking to and at the moment. But whatever it is, you're going to be wrong, and you're the racist. Okay.
Everyone
so it
racist.
might be judging people by that color of their skin, unless their skin is black and they're saying stuff like, "No, we should treat people equally." And if that's the case, well, then it's if you have racist attitudes and you have white brain or white thoughts. Okay, so it just depends. So there's one way or another you're going to get to be able to be racist, even if you think you're colorblind. So the definitions. That's a white people trick. White people try to trick you by putting definitions on words.
Yo,
I have the same with the that word ally that people throw around a lot. I'm an ally. I'm an ally. I'm an ally.
Yeah.
I will never call myself an ally
because they don't know what friends
because
are.
the moment I do call myself an ally for any group, I have taken away their ability to label me as an ally. Right? I should.
Oh.
I would hate for another nation to say, "Hey, we're your allies." Oh, you are? Don't we get to decide who our allies are and are not?
I don't know. It seems like combative language. You know what I mean? Hey, Rick Durant wants to know if he's a racist, does that mean he also has to be a Democrat? Yes, sir. If you are a self-avowed racist, you are required to vote Democrat. That's required. They're the ones that started like the Ku Klux Klan and they're the ones that do like Jim Crow laws and things like that. So you have to register as a Democrat. All right. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, like, I'm not a racist. Obviously, being
a good person.
Look, classically, the racism is you see somebody, that person has a different color skin than you, or different, cultural whatever than you, and then you project onto them the characterization of all the things that you think that person is based on just what you see.
Yeah, it's all stereotype based.
And if you're doing that by saying, "Oh, there's a white guy, he's privileged and he has all this money and all opportunities and never gets whatever," that's projecting a character onto a person you see based on what you see, and that's racism. So there's your definition for racism.
Hey, Goober,
Whitey Whitekins
for you.
Whitey Whitekins, yes, sir.
How come you skipped every damn story that I put in the notes this morning? I mean,
I'm not all the way at the end. I was just trying to get them together in
4
clumps.
minutes left. What
do we need to get to? Cobb County's next, right?
No, we don't have enough time to talk about anything. We need to break these over anymore.
Well, I'm pretty sure your buttons work. So if you want to run a story, you can pull one up.
Oh, no, I'm too busy talking about dead teenagers and whatnot.
That was pretty bad. Did we get to this story where the guy got cut in half?
Lord, I would
Oh
hate
my
to talk
God.
about. I would hate to talk about. Never mind. I'm just gonna shut up.
Okay. I don't know where Cobb County is. Where's Cobb County?
Kentucky.
Oh, it's in Kentucky. It's a Kentucky story.
I don't know. Oh, hold on.
This will be the last
I'm
one.
looking at
Cobb
my
County
results.
School
You know,
Board votes to
I
fire
mean,
fifth grade teacher.
Point in talking about this right now. This will get into a long discussion, and it needs to be held over. This
Oh.
was something. Yeah. Don't. This is.
This happened last night. This
Oh,
happened last night.
all right. Well, you can talk about it. I don't care. Go ahead.
I don't exactly know about this story.
I was just going to point out that this
Oh, this
damn
is
teacher
Georgia.
got her just desserts is what she got because she was a damn teacher that taught a gifted program, and they told her not to read this book, and she read it anyway. And they had this big lawsuit, and she's trying to say all this bull crap, and the people voted against her, and she got fired. And the book is called My Shadow is Purple, which discusses gender identity. And she basically and she read it anyway, so the bitch got fired, and I'm kind of glad
So she was told, don't talk about this gender stuff to our fifth grade students. And fifth grade students are 10 years old, by the way. It's whatever grade plus 5. So 10-year-olds, don't talk about this wacky gender stuff to our 10-year-olds. She was told this as her job, and she did it anyway.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's down in Georgia.
Her
Cobb
lesson was
County,
challenged
Georgia,
by
yeah.
concerned parents. And it triggered a state law that places restrictions on how grade school teachers can discuss race and other topics in classrooms. So we've seen a lot of this kind of distantly, I think, in the news, that a whole lot of white women that are teachers are taking it upon themselves to not teach our kids, but rather to train them to be like revolutionaries and activists. Like they think that's what they're supposed to be doing. Is that right?
Yeah.
So she got shit canned. What's her name? Let's find out what her name is. Teacher. Catherine Renderl. Well, Kathy. Tough shit, Kathy. All right. She should be blacklisted. I mean, I don't know about blacklisted, just shouldn't be around kids. Maybe should be put on a Hey, what do let me ask you guys a question. You're sex criminals in your state, right? You got people that like do outrageous stuff, sexual assault stuff. They get put on a list, right? And that list gets published out to your state. So if you do something real bad to well, really anybody, but especially a child, you get put on a list, and everybody in public can be aware of that, right? Would it be appropriate to pass a law that says that if you are a teacher in school and you violate this sexual, gender, whatever rules that a state makes about you're not to be talking about this, and you violate that rule, should they be put on a sex offenders list?
No, not a sex offender list, but they need to be put on a list.
Yeah.
And maybe
you think
not.
that would cut it out? I don't know. It's something we could consider.
The list wouldn't have to be public per se, but it could be public. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Available to.
It doesn't have to be an official list, but it could be a public list.
There are officers that get in trouble for something, and they end up being called gypsy cops because they'll go from one department to another department, and they just keep getting hired. I think a lot of the law enforcement issues that we see on the news would go away if those officers were just completely blacklisted.
Yep. That's been a discussion for a long time because that happens around here too. It's like, well, this cop, he got in trouble over here in this county, and now he works for this county, and he used to work for that county until he got in trouble down there. Like, why the hell is he still a cop?
Well, same with teachers. And I think you could probably do this with, I think that's like what the Better Business Bureau exists for plumbers. Well, this guy ripped off this person. This contractor ripped off this person. and we need to stop hiring them.
Well,
There are
reason-
lists
so
that are out there for a
the
lot of
reason,
different.
and the reason that doesn't work, and I hate to say this, is because of unions. It's because of the union. I mean, the union stops a lot of that.
Mhm.
So then like I'm willing to entertain the idea, but then the other end of it becomes like once you start establishing like these lists or whatever, and then like, well, who's in charge of it? And then once you organize like who's in charge of the list, it always gets taken over by people with an agenda, right?
Of course, that's the
So
way.
how do we? But how do we manage this
The head
stuff?
off of the Hydra? What happens when you cut off the head off the Hydra, JJ? 2 more grow in its place. So
Yeah.
you don't cut the head off. You go and you stab
Hail
it in
Hydra.
the heart. So you don't. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I got to say that's some pretty good news. This is a lot better story to end on than the one where the guy felt.
No, I got a better story to end
Oh,
on. Here's your story
yeah?
to end on, since you wanted a nice story to end
I
on.
want a good story.
We have found supposedly the James Webb Telescope has confirmed the discovery of Arendelle, our most distant star. All right. It appeared within 1 billion years of the Big Bang, if you believe in that, and shines 1 million times brighter than the sun. Arendelle. We have the Hubble telescope spotted it, but the James Webb Telescope has confirmed that this is the furthest star that we have measured. That is it. Arendelle.
Oh, that's way out there.
Way out there. That's farther than
Way
the
out there.
Walmart on the south side, dude.
Way out there.
That's a little further. You got to go a little further than the
We
Walmart.
can't even get to our next star, and that's the
No.
farthest one. So does that mean that
What
we
is
know
our
where the
next star,
edge of
JJ?
space?
Do you know what our next star is right outside of our solar system?
Is it Alpha Centauri?
It is Alpha Centauri. I'm very
Yeah.
impressed.
Mm. I used to be able to pick Jupiter out of the night sky. I'd be like, oh, there's Jupiter.
You can see
Better
there's
Jupiter than Uranus.
Ooh, yes.
All right, I was ready.
Nice. Yes.
It's important.
It's good.
Still a middle schooler at heart.
I have
Alright.
I have an app that you can get for free. It's called Sky Eye, and SKYEYE. Yeah, Sky Eye.
Yeah.
And it's a sweet app, and
Yeah.
you can just point it, and it'll be like, that's blah blah blah.
Okay.
And that's blah
Or
blah
point
blah.
it to
that
the
one.
ground and you can see
I'll
what's
get
all
that
the-
one.
Yeah.
I'll get that app right after I get this one from Richter. Richter's sending us an app too.
Oh my God, no! Don't download anything from
Is it a Chippendales app?
No, it's something about
Sea Dale.
finding hooks. Something about I think it's fishing. I'm not sure.
Finder. Yeah, that's a fishing app. Yeah, download that. That's a fishing.
All right. He thought that the star was named like a Lord of the Rings character, and you kept saying Arendelle, and I had to read it to be like,
Arendelle,
what?
the Lord of the Rings, isn't that
I don't know.
Where the dwarves
isn't that the most
Okay.
live.
Got a VPN, right? Yes, Richter. Got a VPN, so we can use the hook, the fishing app. All right. Good God.
Ah, what are you all doing later?
Okay, so
Hey,
I thought that was a
hey,
star in Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah, that's
Might be.
the necklace that Arwen wears, right?
It says that he was a character, so I don't know.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is Your Two Dads, where you can get news you can trust from men you can't. We don't know what
right.
we're talking about.
I gotta go. I've got
Joke time.
got jokes. Yeah, I've got a special
Do a
joke
joke.
here because Sinister Minister is with us today. Our dad joke of the day for me. Did you hear that there is a new religion out that worships zero?
What? Really?
Yeah, nothing is sacred these days.
Oh my God. It is. It's true.
All right.
All right.
I had one here. I bought a gallon of whiteout the other day.
Mhm.
It was a big mistake.
All
I like that one.
right. Hey, why did the cookie call an ambulance?
I don't know.
He felt crummy. Oh, yeah, that was good. That was
We've
good.
got to
I
have,
said
see,
it
we
was
have
good.
to have this. We have to have the fake studio audience
That
for
was good.
JJ's 1995 dad jokes.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll be back on Monday, 8 o'clock. Rumble.com/JJW. And bye.